This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
CBD is a game changer sweeping the nation. This hemp extract is the natural way to elevate your mood, eliminate aches and pains, reduce anxiety, and keep you sleeping all night long. It can even cut your workout recovery time in half. Get in the game today with 20% off all orders of CBD and lavender products from Lavender Lane, a lavender farm located right here in Milan, Michigan. Just go to lavenderlanemi.com today and enter coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your entire order. Guys, look, these amazing products are infused with calming lavender to maximize their effectiveness, meaning your CBD items only take minutes to take effect, which is way quicker than those pills you were about to swallow. On top of it, they are perfect for men and women. Lavender Lane has lab-tested CBD creams, tinctures, and roll-ons that are perfect for any situation, even if you're on the go. Put your health back in your hands by heading over to lavenderlanemi.com and entering coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your entire order of CBD and lavender products. What do you have to lose? Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if you need lavender gifts for your loved ones or just looking for the natural way to ease your discomfort with CBD, go to lavenderlanemi.com and use coupon code DETROIT to unlock these miraculous benefits of CBD and lavender. That's lavenderlanemi.com. And remember, use coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your CBD and lavender products from Michigan's own Lavender Lane.
Welcome in to the Monday Mashup. November 25th. Whew. I cannot believe it's already November 25th.
Yeah, that hit me. That just hit me. Don't like that one bit.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
It's shocking how late in the year it is already. It's stunning to me that we are as far through the NFL season as we are. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's stunning that we're as far through college football season as we are, which is where I want to start things. Just briefly, Michigan and Michigan State both winning kind of sucks the interest out of talking about either team. Michigan State, we've said all we can say. Michigan, look, we can sit here and do a Michigan-Ohio State preview. I don't think anyone really that's paid attention all year thinks Michigan stands much of a chance to host Ohio State and win the game. Like, you're a 9-point home dog.
I will say that I think they have a better chance than I did like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, they have a better chance than I thought they would have at any point throughout the season.
Right. So I think they're playing their best football. I don't think it's going to be enough.
The only interesting conversation with Michigan is if they lose to Ohio State and then lose a bowl game, is that enough to really make a move from Harbaugh? We'll have that conversation when it comes time. Because as of right now, it's irresponsible. Yeah. As of right now, Harbaugh has done a good enough job this year that he gets to keep his job. The offense looks great.
The only thing I would say for it is if that were to happen, maybe it's enough to get Harbaugh to consider resigning, but not enough for you to fire him.
The offense genuinely looks great. Shea Patterson genuinely looks great. Yeah. Like, there's nothing to harp on with Michigan. They're playing their best football in maybe 4 years.
Those receivers will challenge Ohio State's DBs. Ohio State's DBs are the best DBs in the country, and they will be challenged. The issue will be, like you just said, Shea Patterson's been playing great football. Will he be able to play great football against that defense with Chase Young bearing down every single play? But I think those receivers could get open. I think they could do a little bit on offense if they can get the ball out.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to run it.
So I just kind of briefly want to run through my top 6 in college football. I've done it every week for the past 5 weeks. I'm just going to run through it fast because there was a ton of movement this week. We learned a lot. Last week, I think I had Oregon at 4.
That was fair. A week ago, probably.
They are not in my top 10 anymore.
That's also fair.
You go to the desert and lose. I get that it's a tough place to play, and they've struggled there.
There's a win for the Spartans. Made them look good.
Oh, boy. God. I get that the desert's a tough place to play, and Oregon has struggled there for a very long time. But if you want to be a top 4 team, you got to go there and win.
Yeah.
So number 6, I have Georgia, who they fell out of the playoff ranking too because they can't score. Like, they look awful offensively. They can't find any consistency on the ground or in the air. Jake Fromm looks terrible. Speaking of guys who look terrible,
good throws and the rest of it is just ugh.
Justin Herbert has taken his draft stock and just thrown it in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like we talked about Tua falling because he got hurt. I think Herbert might fall further, and he's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, Herbert kind of got replaced by Joe Burrow, right? Like, Herbert was that dark horse number 1 overall pick, and now it's without a doubt Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think Joe Burrow's a Cincinnati Bengal already. Like, it's set in stone.
God help him.
From the Bayou Bengals to the Cincinnati Bengals. Enjoy your life.
Can you stay in school more years? You know what? Pull an Eli. Be like, nope, not going there.
Yeah,
not going to happen.
Honestly,
like,
I would like to see Joe Burrow on a good team, so don't go.
Do it.
Don't go to Cincinnati.
Like, I'm not kidding. Pull an Eli. Be like, you can do it. You never have more leverage than right then and there to be like, nope, not coming.
He's actually good enough to do it.
Exactly.
He's that good. So at 5, I have Oklahoma, just like by the skin of their teeth. They might find their way back in. At 4, Utah, who I think is going to get punished unfairly.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be 4 when the rankings come out.
No, I don't think so either. But again, this is where I think they should be, and I don't think that the committee is going to put that respect. I think actually Utah is going to be punished unfairly because Oregon lost. And I want to touch on playoff expansion quickly too. Clemson to 3, LSU moving down to 2, and Ohio State to 1 because Chase Young is unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Really,
and I mean, I don't take any stock into Penn State making that game close because they had a backup mobile quarterback come in, and Ryan Day had clearly never seen him before. That'll happen. Like, you're going to get...
When you get a different look, you got to adjust. And when you go in at halftime making adjustments for one quarterback and then out in the second half, you're facing a different quarterback. You don't even have halftime to make an adjustment.
Justin Fields also had a hurt hand and fumbled the ball 3 times.
Right.
Like, these things aren't going to happen every single game.
Yeah, and if he doesn't fumble that first time, it's 21-0 at the half, and it's an entirely different game.
I just think they're the best team in the country, top to bottom. LSU's defense scares me. Playoff expansion, I want to touch on quickly because I had 2 things that I looked at this weekend where I was like, on one hand, I do think it should be expanded, and then on the other hand, I'm kind of backing down on the idea that conference titles should be automatic bids. And the reason why is I wanted expansion because I hate that Utah is going to be punished for Oregon losing in the desert. I don't think that's right or fair that's how that's going to go down for them.
It is predictable, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, that's just the way things happen in this sport.
The Pac-12 always happens like that.
In that conference.
Yeah. Conference of Champions.
That's where I think, like, if Utah wins the Pac-12, they should get a bid. At the same time, if Oregon beats Utah in the Pac-12 championship, Oregon just hasn't played well enough to go to the playoff. The other side of things is Ohio State clinched their Big Ten championship appearance when they beat Penn State. If you make the conference championship game an auto bid, why would Ohio State play Justin Fields or Chase Young against Michigan?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's also like that sort of NCAA tournament basketball situation where you have a team like... Because mid-majors are automatic bids. So you get a mid-major team that gets ranked and they win all year, and then all of a sudden they lose in the conference tournament. And the team that doesn't deserve to be in at all is now in. Like a VCU becomes an 11 seed in the playoff game, goes to the Final Four. Like, you're going to get that one year where a team who doesn't deserve to be in, is in the whatever division that Clemson isn't in the ACC, somehow shocks Clemson, gets in, and then makes a run. And it's like, that team isn't the national champion. They just got really hot. And that's where I would caution the automatic bid too, because you've seen it in basketball. I think that could definitely happen in football too.
I mean, how many times have we seen, like, what was it a few years ago when USC with 3 losses won the Pac-12?
Right.
Like, there are situations where you have a 4-loss Northwestern in the Big Ten championship last year.
Exactly.
If they just get hot for a game, get up for the Big Ten championship, like, holy shit, we're here, and beat Ohio State, you're going to have 4-loss Northwestern go to the college football playoff.
Right.
So
I mean, they had with Wisconsin in what was that, 2012?
Wisconsin and Nebraska, right? In the Big Ten
Wisconsin had 4 losses in the Rose Bowl just because Ohio State couldn't go and Penn State couldn't go because they were both on violations.
That's the other thing. If you're going to do the auto bids, you might have to figure out how to not do playoff ineligibility because of violations.
Right. Like, everyone in California now.
It was funny when I was watching Ohio State and Penn State. Gus Johnson commented on Ohio State hasn't been undefeated since 2012 under Urban Meyer, and I was like, finish the rest of that sentence, Gus. What happened that year? Why were they 12-0 and not 14-0. Can you run us through that one?
That 17-16 win in East Lansing still gives me nightmares.
But it is like, that is kind of, they should have been able to go that year. They were one of the best teams in the country. And it's
Penn State was good under Bill O'Brien that year.
It's dumb that you punish kids who weren't involved in rules violations 3 years later.
That was the Terrell Pryor tattoo thing, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what oh my God. To think that those kids, imagine explaining to Braxton Miller in that moment that you just quarterbacked a 12-0 team and you can't go play in the Rose Bowl because Terrell Pryor got a tattoo for free.
Like, honestly, the punishment for that, Jim Tressel gone, Terrell Pryor gone, and you're done.
If that happens 5 years later, Jim Tressel's still the coach at Ohio State.
Terrell Pryor gets suspended for half a game, probably.
And at this point, or at that point, it was just so like firestormy and so juicy. It's like, it really, you look at it now and it's like, oh, come on.
It literally happened 2 years later to Johnny Manziel, and he missed a half of football against TCU. Yeah. That was it.
It's like, do you think kids in Columbus aren't getting free tattoos now? Like, I'm sure that's still going on.
The moral of the story there is the NCAA is stupid.
For sure.
The playoff expansion thing, I'm starting to think 4 teams really is the perfect number, and it's just, this is just what we have to deal with.
I think for this year it is for sure.
There will always be, oh my God, we should have had one more team. But again, it becomes dangerous when you ruin the opportunity for Michigan to play spoiler if you make the Big Ten championship an automatic qualifier, because Ohio State can just rest everyone and lose this game. Who cares? Also, it would make Michigan fans absolutely unbearable. We beat Ohio State. It would make them unbearable.
Just like they beat Ohio State with Luke Fickell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well,
because you take that win away and you haven't beaten Ohio State in a long time. It's not just like 7-8 years, which is already long enough.
Try 15.
Take that win out, and
Try
oh boy,
15. Boy, they already haven't won a conference title in 15 years. All right, we got to quit Michigan bashing. People are going to turn this podcast off. All right, let's move from Michigan bashing to Lions bashing. We'll get to the NFL. Yeah. I think everybody's kind of on the same page. There's not going to be a whole lot of pushback on this topic. Like, all week, we've talked about this on Big Drew and Jim, on Twitter. Do Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn need to be fired? And for the past 3 weeks, really, we've been talking about it. For the past 3 weeks, half of the people have said, yeah, they got to go. And the other half have said, no, you have to give a head coach time, which I've never understood.
I'm done with the time. I can't wait for the one guy on Twitter this week who's going to be like, well, if Prater didn't miss that kick to start the game, then what, it's 19-19 against the Redskins? We're playing the Redskins here. Like, if there is no justification for what happened. There is no, well, we played Jeff Driscoll. You've had Jeff Driscoll as your starter for 3 weeks. You can't get him ready for the Washington racial slurs? Like, seriously? You can't, like, 3 interceptions, 2 of which were utterly egregious. There is no excuse. There is no, like, they had Dwayne Haskins. They got him ready. Like, you couldn't get Jeff Driscoll ready. You've had 3 weeks with Jeff Driscoll. You knew he was going to play. You've known for weeks he's going to play. There's no excuse for him not being ready. There's no excuse for that to happen. And Bo Scarborough was good. You wasted a good Bo Scarborough day. Like, there's no excuse. This is entirely on the head coach. I don't want to hear about Jeff Driscoll. I don't want to hear about missed field goals. Get rid of the head coach. I think you should get rid of the GM too. I don't think either of them will, but, like, there it is.
It's their team.
Right.
I've said on here before, I've heard interviews where they were always in the same room in New England. People knew when Bob Quinn went somewhere, Matt Patricia was following.
Yeah.
This team was built for Matt Patricia, for his scheme. Forget the Paul Pasqualoni blame. Forget using him as a scapegoat. Paul Pasqualoni doesn't like to rush 3. Yeah, he wouldn't be rushing 3 if Matt Patricia didn't like to rush 3.
Exactly.
But because Matt Patricia likes to rush 3, Paul Pasqualoni gets to rush 3.
Exactly.
Like, you can't just put the blame on the coordinator. It's the same thing we did with Michigan State for years, where it's like, Mark D'Antonio, Dave Warner just wants to run the football. It's not Mark D'Antonio's fault. No, Mark D'Antonio would tell Dave Warner, modernize the offense if he wanted to modernize the offense. He just didn't want to.
It's Dave Warner calling plays, but it's Mark D'Antonio calling what kind of plays. It's not like he's just giving Dave Warner autonomy. And it's the same thing in this situation. Like, yes, Paul Pasqualoni is going to call the defense, but Matt Patricia is going to tell him what to call, and then he's going to call something based on those. Like, this is not just Paul Pasqualoni goes out and does whatever he wants. Anyone who thinks that's what a defensive coordinator does, that's not it. So everything that's happened is under the Patricia Bob Quinn umbrella, which means why do you need to look outside of that umbrella for blame? Just blame the guys.
They're married to each other,
Yeah.
and it's at a point now where it hasn't worked. It's not going to work. Goodbye.
And
you inherited a 10-6 team
Exactly.
that went 9-7 with a franchise quarterback, and
In a good division.
You've lit them on fire. They are worse now than they were when you arrived.
Right. I can't stress that
Goodbye.
enough. Like, you didn't take over a bad team and start a rebuild the way you wish everybody would believe that you did. Because even in his first year, Matt Patricia was like, it's going to take some time. We have some things to build. Like, no, you don't, dude. No, you don't. They've won 19 games the last 2 years. You don't have things to build.
You just have to win. I mean, when Matt Patricia was getting hired, this job was talked about as the best available job in the NFL.
It was the best available job.
It was. You had a franchise quarterback on a team that went 9-7. You had a stable offense, a defense on the rise, and what'd you do
spent
with it?
money on your offensive line. Like, you had done things. They made that job very attractive.
And there was never a name attached to it other than Matt Patricia because Bob Quinn knew he was hiring.
Right.
And it's now at a point where
They didn't even do a background check. Right? I mean, they didn't.
it's a fair point.
Like, I'm not saying anything either way on that. Like, my opinion is what it is. But the fact remains that they did not do a background check.
I haven't made that connection all year, but they just knew who they were
Right.
hiring. You can't, now that I'm looking back on it, you cannot possibly convince me that Bob Quinn didn't know about the Matt Patricia background stuff. You can't
I would
ever
imagine,
convince me.
yeah.
Now that I'm really thinking about it, you could never convince me. That's insane. That's how much this job was structured for this guy.
Right.
And this is how badly he's failed. That you're now, 3-7-1?
Yeah.
I mean, you started 2-0-1.
Should have been 3-0. Like,
You
their
are-
own that last one is entirely your fault too. If you're Matt, I'm speaking to Matt Patricia.
Yeah, it should have. You should have started 3-0, and you have since then gone 1-7.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye.
Like, what are you still doing here?
Like they shouldn't have gotten on the plane back. You played a home game in Washington.
Seriously. Like, it's they're so bad. Like that, not the Lions. The Redskins are so bad that you should have been able to not just beat them with Jeff Driscoll, but like really take it to them. Like, the Jets really took it to them. And I know the Jets played well again today, but that is such a bad football team with a half-empty stadium and a fan base that doesn't care even more than the Lions fan base doesn't care. Like, there is no excuse for losing that football game to Dwayne Haskins. There just isn't. You gotta go. It's time to go.
I mean, we're talking about a Dwayne Haskins who audibly was like, I need to know what I can do to help my offensive line. And his offensive line was like, bro, get the fuck out of this huddle.
What you can do to help us is leave right now.
Get the fuck out of this huddle. And that's who you lost to today.
And it made him look good.
And that's, 2 weeks after you made Mitch Trubisky look good?
I mean, Haskins missed some throws, but like, he was at least picking the open receivers.
I think it's inexcusable. I think it's unacceptable. And I think going forward, everyone needs to be fired. And I'd be fine with it happening tomorrow morning. I think Darrell Bevell is a perfect candidate for an interim head coaching position. It cannot possibly be worse. He's let the offense be good. I think you just can everyone on the defensive side of the ball. Like, it gets tough, but that's just where it's at.
And I know this is not going to happen. Like, I'm going to say it just to say it, but I know it's not going to happen. You can't run Jeff Driscoll out there again next week, right? Like, you gotta at least bring in somebody else to compete with him. So if we're not gonna call Kaepernick, can we call somebody? Like, you cannot possibly run that guy out there again.
I know they're not going to sign Kaepernick.
Oh no, I know. Like, I prefaced everything by saying it's not going to happen.
But I don't disagree.
Right? Like, how do you run that guy out there?
It's just
on Thanksgiving, on a nationally televised, like, I gotta watch Jeff Driscoll at 12:30 on Thursday
and Mitch Trubisky.
Like, I cannot. You can't be serious.
And there were like a group of people, and it was jokingly done within Detroit Sports Podcast, but there were a real group of people who were like, we might actually have something here. Let's see what we have. You have what Penn State had against Ohio State, what I brought up earlier, a mobile guy with very little film that people hadn't prepped for.
I mean, you don't even have that because that guy might be good eventually. Like, Jeff Driscoll isn't going to be good.
True. I mean, true. Yeah. That's just true. Yeah. Okay, so staying in the NFL, but also sticking with the motif of guys who need to be fired. You and I are of the belief that today in the National Football League, a number of coaches showed they don't deserve to have their jobs anymore.
They solidified their candidacy for being removed from their position.
I frankly cannot believe how porous the level of coaching is in this league. I mean, I like Jason Garrett now, and he's the one I want to start with because he had atrocious decisions today, like egregious errors.
Went to Princeton.
I can't believe he got in there. Must have known somebody. Anybody who's ever cracked a math book at any point in their life understands that when there's 6 minutes left in a football game, you have probably 2 possessions at best. In this game, definitely because the rain was pouring and Brady couldn't do anything because he had no receivers.
That's the macro is you have 2 possessions at best. The micro is you're playing on a very rainy day. Your offense hasn't done much all game long, and you are here in the red zone, and you are facing the best defense in the NFL.
You are, what were they, like the 13-yard line?
Something like that. Like, I get it's 4th and 7, but you're not even worried about the 7. You want 13.
And you are going, like you said, it's the best defense in football. You're playing in a monsoon. You haven't been able to get anything except for 2 field goals and a miss all game. Yeah. You're down 7, 6 minutes left.
It took a big play for you to get down there.
It's a no-brainer. You go for it and try to get the touchdown to tie the game. You have to. It's no-brainer. The reason why, if you kick the field goal, it's not like your next trip kicking a field goal is a tie. No. You need a touchdown either way. It's so dumb to not go for it in that situation.
It didn't make a whole lot of sense at all.
It's one of the worst decisions I've seen Jason Garrett make, and it comes coupled with he did it 2 weeks ago.
Right.
The exact same thing.
Those who don't study history.
Like, he was on the 5-yard line 2 weeks ago with 6 minutes left, and he kicked a field goal down 7. Like, somebody didn't tell him that he was losing by a touchdown, and they ended up losing to the Vikings by 4. Like, it's every week with this guy, it's a new way to show how incompetent he is at his job.
I've never been a supporter of owners doing post-game press conferences, but damn it, it's entertaining when Jason Garrett does stuff like this, that Jerry Jones goes in front of the media and gives his immediate reaction.
And like Jerry Jones always says passive-aggressive things about Jason Garrett. And
he doesn't have Twitter, so he has to live subtweet him.
And always, like, every year this happens and he never gets fired, but it does feel like at this point, you have...
The shoe's getting ready to drop.
You have an insane amount of talent, name-wise, on your defense. An insane amount of talent.
For sure.
You have one of the 5 best offensive lines in football. Mm-hmm. You have a running back who's supposed to be incredible.
Most expensive running back ever.
You also have a quarterback who's proving he's worth $35 million.
He will probably be the most expensive quarterback ever.
If Amari Cooper weren't going up against the best corner of the past 2 seasons, you have a wide receiver who's a top 10 talent.
Yeah, and if it's a little bit drier of a day or conditions aren't exactly the same, maybe he has 1 catch.
And yet...
Just 1.
You're a 6-5 football team that's going to struggle to win your division in a division that sucks.
And your only wins are against bad teams. Like all 6 of your wins are, like, I guess the Eagles, but no, they're not good.
At some point when you have a team that's this talented, you just have to win games. And when you're not, it comes down to Jason Garrett can't get out of his own way. Mm-hmm. And he just keeps making piss poor decisions.
Over and over.
Every week. Confirmed. Jason Garrett, you're gone. You got to be fired.
I can't imagine what the reasoning is behind keeping him at this point. Because it's not like, it's been a couple of years. We're still hoping something pops. 9 years in the NFL. That's like 50 years. Like, that's 50 regular years. If you get to coach one team for 9 years in the NFL, you are synonymous with that team forever. Nobody gets 9 years. Nobody. Especially if you've never been to a Super Bowl. Like, who gets 9 years? Who are the tenured coaches that have lasted 9 years and never even been to a Super Bowl?
I got to look at the longest tenured head coaches because it really. Somebody tweeted at me today. You don't know what it's like to be a Cowboys fan and have to have put up with this for 9 years. And I read it and I was like, 9 years?
9 years he's been there. That's wild.
It's insanity.
Who else is like Belichick, Tomlin?
And Tomlin's won a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Sean Payton has won a Super Bowl. John Harbaugh has won a Super Bowl. Pete Carroll has won a Super Bowl. Ron Rivera's been there.
Yep.
Andy Reid has never been one, but has been to one with Philly, not with Kansas City, but he's been there only 6 years.
And he consistently has the best offense in football.
And now has the best quarterback in football when he's going right. Bill O'Brien at 5 years hasn't been close. Yeah. That's another guy we're going to talk about.
Any sense.
Very, very soon.
We knew that in Hard Knocks like 4 years ago. We're like, that's not the guy.
Mike Zimmer has at least won the NFC North twice and been to an NFC title game and may go to one.
But
this
he's not
year.
9 years.
No, he's 5.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn, 4 years. He's coming up.
And at least he's been to a Super Bowl.
Right. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl. Like, it takes until 2017 when coaches were hired where you start seeing a lack of division championships, Super Bowl berths, and that's it. Like, really, the only guy who's tenured longer than 2 years and doesn't have an NFC champion or a conference championship or division championship is Kyle Shanahan. And newsflash, his team is 9-1.
Wait for it.
So
it's coming.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how Jason Garrett has kept his job. He's got to go.
Yeah. He's got to go 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Like, we're way past the expiration date of a guy who's never been there.
He has the second worst winning percentage of any coach who's been tenured since earlier than 2013. The worst is Ron Rivera at 563.
I mean,
Jason Garrett's been there 9 years. He hasn't won 100 games.
How do you keep your job for 9 years like that? All you are is a puppet if you still have your job at that point. You are just there because Jerry Jones can do whatever he wants to you. Like, that's the only reason you're there. I can never fathom another reason.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane that he still has a job.
Yeah.
Again, Jason Garrett, you're fired. Who's the next guy up? Who's your guy? Who's your guy that today confirmed to you? Jason Garrett was mine. I was coming in flying with that.
I had
pick.
a couple. I mean, for me, Doug Marrone got confirmed that it's time for him to be done today. Jason Garrett was one. Vic Fangio was another. Dan Quinn was another. Patricia was another.
The Godfather might be a guy on his way out too down in Jacksonville. Tom Coughlin.
I think if you're gonna fire Marrone, like, you have to look at Coughlin for entirely bungling the Ramsey situation.
It's kind of the Patricia Quinn thing where they're just married to each other, right or wrong.
You might just want to cut Coughlin loose. That brand of management doesn't seem to work with today's NFL player.
Yeah, Matt Patricia was the big one too, and I mean I've been on that for a few weeks now. Pat Shurmur probably also needs to be fired.
I think that was confirmed before this week.
It's been long confirmed. John Gruden surprisingly doesn't.
I didn't like that thing. I mean, it took me way off guard today. 34-3 took me way off guard.
The thing with John Gruden is, like, we can say he should be, he will not be. He will never be.
10
like
years.
He's going to get at least 3 years in Vegas before it's even a conversation.
I'll get 3 years in Vegas puts him at halfway through his contract. So I'm saying he gets 5 in Vegas. He gets at least 7 years of a 10-year deal. You're not going to fire him with more than 5 years left.
You know who should probably be fired? And they haven't even played yet this week. I think they're on the bye. The Chargers. Anthony Lynn should be fired.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of talent. They haven't done a whole lot. I didn't think about that one.
I know it's still, and he wasn't a confirmation today guy, but man,
should they just hire a British guy and get ready for the move?
Like, I think it. Oh boy. Jose Mourinho is the head coach of the London Chargers. No, I think it's like at a point with Anthony Lynn where you look at what Phillip Rivers has done this year. It's been awful.
Well, he's done in Los Angeles. I'm always going to say San Diego. Never mind, not Los Angeles. He's done in San Diego.
You look at like the way their defense has not performed really up to par, and I keep looking back at that game in New England in the playoffs last year where he stuck with a dime look that really confused Lamar Jackson. But you're going to put 7 defensive backs on the field for more than 30% of your snaps against Tom Brady on the road.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Yeah, good luck.
Not a good idea.
That alone, I was like, that's basically a fireable offense.
Also, like, they had pretty solid expectations to come in and be a playoff team again this year. Like,
they were Super Bowl contender preseason.
for sure. And I know, like, they lost Derwin James and Melvin Gordon on the holdout and all. Like, they had a game won in Detroit that they blew. They've blown other games. Like, a lot of that is Phillip Rivers choking away plays down the stretch, but a lot of that is Anthony Lynn not putting his team in a good position too. So I think you're probably right on there too. Especially if they lose they got 5 left. If they lose 3 of them, you got to imagine he's probably gone. They're going into a new building, maybe a new head coach,
maybe a new owner.
I don't think something's got to give there, right? Like, I don't want to go off on an aside about what's going to happen with the Chargers, but there's no way they can just stay put in LA with no fans forever.
This might be an NFL offseason topic because I read an article on it this week that just was amazing about the move to Los Angeles and how Kroenke roped Spanos into it and how everything was like very shady. It's a super incredible story, and finding out that Kroenke was basically the architect of getting a team that's not his. Kroenke, believe it or not, Jerry Jones were the architects of getting the Chargers to Los Angeles. Yeah. Reading this story was incredible, and it made me realize just how poorly run the Chargers are top to bottom.
They have been for so long. I mean, the Chargers are always the team that gets the holdouts and deal, like, even on draft picks with Bosa. Eli didn't want to go there. It goes back forever. Like, they've been terribly run for so long.
Ron Rivera was another one you brought up that kind of just confirmed its time.
Yeah, I mean, he's one for me where I think he gets fired and gets another job right away.
Oh, yeah, I think he's a Black Friday or a Black Monday. Jesus, where's my mind at? He's a Black Monday too. He might get hired Tuesday after.
Yeah, I really like. There's some that, like, I don't think Marone will get hired right away. There's some other guy I don't think get hired right away. But, like, Riverboat Ron, I hope the Lions hire him if they fire Patricia.
The other one I brought up, and I think it's like, I wouldn't mind Rivera in Detroit. Yeah. I think it's an interesting one. Like, Dan Quinn confirmed he needs to be fired losing today because the whole 9-7 and maybe we can make a run at it's done.
It's gone now. When Jameis does that to you, it's gone.
Yeah, and like when you're a same thing as Patricia, you're a defensive head coach and your defense blows. Goodbye.
Yeah.
The other one I started thinking about was the Eagles losing today in Seattle. I mean, Seattle, an hour before the game, lost Jadeveon Clowney.
Right.
They should not have had any business being in this game without Jadeveon Clowney. Right. Carson Wentz
coming east, like, yeah.
And this brings us into the next topic, which was Carson Wentz. This is a perfect segue. Doug Peterson, I think, is at a point where we need to start questioning what you've done. And I know it's tough because he's the offensive mind and you just paid your quarterback $140 million. Yeah. And it doesn't even kick in for 2 years, right. And you won a Super Bowl. Carson Wentz is getting paid a lot of money in the next 6 years to look as bad as he's looked this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's awful.
He's not good. I mean, I've been on the Carson Wentz is bad train since like 2016. So
I've made jokes that they paid the wrong quarterback. I've made jokes that they should have moved on from Wentz and kept Foles.
It would have been cheaper.
Despite Foles' injury stuff, I've made jokes about that. Jokes are reality now. Like, you paid the wrong quarterback.
For sure. And even though Nick Foles didn't exactly look good today, like, he looked good with what Philly always wanted him to do.
The other side of this is...
And you could have paid other people if you paid Nick Foles because it wouldn't have cost you as much.
Nick Foles really looked fine today. The problem in that game specifically was they got their bones jumped coming out of the second half. Sure. I mean, you get 28 points in 8 minutes for the Titans. Yeah. You can't put that all on Foles. That's a fumble on the kickoff.
This is a huge, that's entirely, not entirely, but hugely on the defense in that game. Which is why I think Marone is gone, because he's another defensive coach.
I look at Wentz and I can't believe how bad he's been this year. And I know, like, it sucks. Deshaun Jackson got lost for the season. Aguilar was out today.
Deshaun Jackson's 32 years old. You didn't think you were going to have him for 16 games.
Right. Alshon Jeffrey was out today. Jordan Howard was out today. But, like, you can't get Miles Sanders going at all.
At all.
Like, you can't figure out how to get Zach Ertz involved. You're throwing to Dallas Goedert more often than you're throwing to Zach Ertz. Like, at some point, you have to figure out how to get your weapons involved. Wentz isn't figuring it out. Wentz isn't figuring out coverages at the line. No. Wentz isn't showing any level of development into becoming a higher level passer. Like, it's starting to just look like the MVP caliber season that was 2016, 2017, whatever year that was. Yep. was because of his ability to move outside of the pocket and create plays down the field.
I mean, even
he
then,
can't do it anymore.
He won MVP, or he didn't win MVP. He had an MVP type season that year, but even then, Nick Foles takes over, they win the Super Bowl. So it looks like, you could have put a lot of people in there and they would have looked that good.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, and it's now I'm like, that was the Doug Peterson quarterback whisperer, right. And now it's like, Doug Peterson, where is that guy gone?
Right.
Like, you can't get this together at all. And again, the injury bug strikes, that sucks. Mm-hmm. And it's killed their passing offense as far as weaponry goes. But at some point, you got to figure something out. Miles Sanders is a good receiving back. Jay Ajayi, you signed him to never put him on the field.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
Like, he's on the roster. Somebody let Doug Peterson know that Jay Ajayi's on the roster.
You can hand it to that guy if you want to.
So I look at that, and I think that one's very unlikely to happen, but it was one where I'm like, this is a coach who maybe it's time. It's time.
I think when you win a Super Bowl, you get like a few years after that.
You probably, like, this is your...
Have some autonomy.
This is what, year 2 after the Super Bowl?
Yep.
Yeah, so you probably get at least next year to get it back. But, I mean, it's Philly, too. The other side of the thing is it's Philly.
Exactly.
And Philly's going to turn on teams quick. They've turned on the Sixers.
They turn on everyone quick.
So I think the leash is going to be short. Last NFL topic we have to talk about. It's the one that's been eating sports media alive all week. Everybody is obsessed with it. They can't get over it. Are the Patriots dead? Is the dynasty over? House, I don't see how the Patriots win the Super Bowl with this offense, House.
I've never seen, like, and maybe it's because I've never been able to root for like a 10-1 football team, but in the NFL, a 10-1 football team before. But like, if I ever got to root for a team that was 10-1, I don't understand how you can look at 10-1 and think, man, they stink. Because it's not even like, they're just kind of frauds and they're only beating bad. No, they're beating everyone. They're 10-1. They lost to one team on the road in a night game, tough environment. They got beat. Everybody else, every good team they've played, every bad team they've played, they've beaten in at least a comfortable manner.
I mean, yeah, like today you win a game by 4 points. It felt like a
for sure
7 to 10 point.
They weren't doing it
margin.
Like it goes back to Jason Garrett not going for it. Like they had nothing going. When you're down there, you got to go for it. You're only down there because Randall Cobb had a great run after the catch.
Yep.
Like they didn't do much. New England was really kind of handling that game.
Yeah, and that's I don't get how you talk about New England as being dead. Like the offense, they can't win the Super Bowl. We do this every single year. We are right on schedule. Like, it's the opposite of the stages of grief. Like, the beginning of the year, the Patriots sign Antonio Brown. Wow, they're just going to win the Super Bowl again, aren't they? And then it's like, you get into bargaining anything for the Patriots to not win the Super Bowl. And then you get into the anger where you're just like calling out all the bad plays. And then the denial. Maybe the offense is bad. Maybe Brady's bad. Maybe they can't do it. Like, they're 10-1.
Literally.
Do you know how hard it is to get to 10-1 in the NFL?
How many other teams are 10-1?
None.
Literally none.
Unless the 49ers win tonight. None. It's like, people don't realize how hard it is to be 10-1. They played the number one offense in football today and locked them in a jail cell for 60 minutes.
Cooper's not the number one receiver, but he's a top 5 receiver in the NFL right now. Had 0 catches.
0 catches?
And their most expensive running back in the world sure didn't look like it.
Stephon Gilmore was on Amari Cooper like a blanket. The dude couldn't move.
Like, it's not like a whole lot has been made about their rush defense either. Like, everybody's been like, they're so great in the secondary. Like, 86 yards is not nothing, but on 21 carries, like to hold Zeke under 5 yards a clip, that's solid. It's pretty solid. His longest run of the day was 12 yards. Like, he never really got loose. They kind of just have a complete defense. The whole knock on them is like, well, the pass defense is really good. The secondary is great, but they're not that great up front. They were pretty damn good up front tonight.
Yeah, they did a good job. I mean, I think they've struggled a little bit against the run on the year, but overall tonight, no complaints.
Like, really, that's the most expensive running back ever, and he's damn good. He didn't look that great.
I mean, there's a tweet from Patrick Daugherty who writes for Roto World and NBC Sports about the NFL, and I don't know. I don't know how you watch football for a living and come away with this take, because he said, when did wasting historically good defense become the legendary quarterback swan song blueprint? One, that doesn't work because Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl with a historically good defense. They didn't waste it. No. Two, you're not wasting a defense when you're 10-1.
No.
That's not how wasting works. You're using words wrong.
Utilizing
Michigan
it to
State
the best of its ability.
Wasted a defense.
Yes. The Chicago Bears
wasted a defense.
Like, without a doubt. 10-1 is not wasting a defense.
You're doing just fine. Mm-hmm. And it's like the media does this thing every year where they trip over themselves to talk about the Patriots like they're dead. If you guys want them to be dead so badly, you would be better off guaranteeing Super Bowl trips than doing this thing where you know damn well Bill Belichick is letting them all watch Get Up and like Tom Brady's watching Get Up and hearing all this stuff. That's why after winning a divisional game last year, he did his interview with what's her face on NBC or whoever he interviewed with.
I can't remember.
And said, yeah, everyone thinks we suck, but we're going to go in there. It's a good team. It'll be fun. That's why he does that interview, because he listens to this. Yeah. You're giving him bulletin board material.
Tom Brady.
If you don't want him to win, just stop giving him bulletin board material.
Say less.
Is he good anymore? No, he doesn't look good. I'll admit that. I have no problem with it.
He doesn't terrible look good for a really crappy weather game today against a good defense, and he has, like, really all he's got is Edelman right now.
But this thing that people
look terrible for that.
This team's 10-1, but are they any good? House, are the Patriots good?
If a team is 10-1, you don't have to ask if they're good.
They have the number one defense in the league. House,
and Bill Belichick, by the way. We didn't even mention that. They have Bill Belichick.
House, they have 2 Super Bowl MVPs on their offense. House, are they good?
I don't even know what to make of it, because every morning this week there was some kind of conversation about, oh, the Patriots are this and they have this problem here. Like,
and it's
9-1 football team.
It's not a couple minutes like in the Patriots whether or not having a left tackle.
It's the whole C block.
It's a segment of, oh, the Patriots don't have a left tackle. They don't have Gronk anymore.
Let's bring in 4 former players to talk about how bad the Patriots are at 9-1.
And then, like, people come in, like Gronk on today was like, why is everybody so pissed about the Patriots? They're 9-1. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know.
It's insane. Like, the broader point here is I'm at a point with sports media where I think that a lot of the people working in it legitimately hate the sport that they're covering.
That's fair.
I think a lot of people writing about the NBA actively hate writing about the NBA, actively hate watching the NBA. Have no, like Matt Moore, HP Basketball, is on record. He does not enjoy watching basketball. Then why do you write about it?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
I think you have people like Michelle Beadle before ESPN bought her out of her contract. You have her on Get Up going, I refuse to talk about football.
Yeah.
Man, not a great look.
Yeah, well.
Like, I think a lot of these people actively hate the sport that they're covering. Why are you having this job?
Like, there are other jobs.
Like, again, going back to this Patrick Daugherty tweet, and I don't want to drag the guy too badly, I don't think you've ever watched football if you've sent this tweet about legendary quarterbacks wasting historically good defenses. You know what historically good defense has been waste? The Bears, that's not a legendary quarterback. The Jags, when Doug Marrone lost his mind and didn't put his feet on the Patriots' throat in the AFC Championship game, Blake Bortles was the quarterback, not a legend.
Like 25 years old.
Yeah. I mean, these are the historically good defenses that get wasted, not the 10-1 Patriots and not the Super Bowl champion Broncos. What are you talking about?
It doesn't make it doesn't make any sense.
That's my broader point. I'm tired of sports media and the way that people act in it. I'm tired of the talking head media. Tired of it.
I'm with you.
Speaking of talking head topics, is it fair to compare Luka to LeBron?
Like, okay.
Switching to the
let's get into the NBA, because Luka Doncic is doing things that, like, a person with his level of athletic ability should not be able to do. Not that he's a bad athlete, but he's certainly not an elite athlete. What he can do, the way he sees the game, excuse me. I'm going to go away from LeBron for a second and go more towards Magic with a 3-point shot.
Larry Bird.
Like, yeah, that one too. That works. That's another fair comparison. But I think he's not a better passer than Bird, but a higher volume passer than Bird.
Yeah. Bird was a really good passer.
Oh, yeah, no, without a doubt. Like, yeah, one of the best ever, but wasn't a guy who averaged 10 assists, right? Unless I could be mistaken. Maybe he did one year.
I doubt he ever did.
Luka had his like fourth game of the year with 40 and 10. Like we're 16 games in. Every 4 games the guy has 40 and 10. He had like 30 and 10 for I don't even know how many straight times. He's averaging like 30 and 10. We're not even talking about Kristaps Porzingis looking decent because Luka Doncic is literally averaging a triple-double. Like, his true shooting percentage is something ridiculous, like 63%. He's close to like 50, 35, 85 or something crazy like that.
I mean, the thing, too, is you talk about averaging a triple-double and everybody's mind shoots to Westbrook.
But that's a forced triple-double.
We need to make this clear. Doncic is averaging a efficient triple-double.
Organic triple-double.
An effective triple-double.
Yes.
Like, he's not forcing 10 assists and 10 rebounds.
He's not telling Kristaps Porzingis to box out in the lane so he can sprint when a missed free throw comes in and steal that rebound.
He's not honoring Nipsey Hussle by forcing 20-20-20.
Rest in peace.
This guy is literally just so aware of everything that's happening on the floor, he gets 9 assists.
Exactly.
That's just it.
It's easy for him. It's all organic, and it's just I look at him pull these step back threes off, and in my head I'm thinking, why can't that be contested better? He's not moving that fast. Like someone should be able to get a hand up. He's not quick like Harden stepping back like that. He doesn't have that quick release, but he's just so fluid, and he knows what he's gonna do with there is not a movement wasted. Everything is absolutely picked perfectly for where he wants to go on the floor.
I heard like Joy Taylor, and I think it was on Cowherd, talking about Luka and saying, he's a superstar. I'm like, he's averaging 30, 10, and 10.
Yeah.
The only reason that we're hesitant is because he's only 20 years old. This kid's not a superstar.
There's another reason we're hesitant that what people don't want to talk about, but there's another reason we're hesitant. He's not from America.
Yeah, the Euro reason.
He's never going to get to be that big of a star because of that.
We didn't have that problem with Giannis.
Giannis doesn't look like us. Like, I know that seems crazy, but that's going to be a difficult thing for people to wrap their head around when they look at Luka Doncic and think he's kind of doughy. He's white. He looks like the kid who lives down the street. How is this guy this good? You look at Giannis and you see a black statue of David. Like, the guy is a complete Adonis. So you're not remotely questioning how he's dominating because look at the guy. But you look at Luka and you think, how can that guy dominate a basketball game?
Luka's got the neck beard, the pasty white skin, the $5 haircut.
It's not fair to him, but it's part of, he might be soft because he's from Europe, and he looks like that. Like,
he's averaging 30, 10, and 10.
I know. He's
as
amazing.
A 20-year-old.
He's amazing. But it's part of that. It will always be in people's heads.
This kid's not a superstar. He's an
supernova.
MVP candidate.
Like, if it ended today, like, I understand that Giannis is doing Giannis stuff and LeBron is leading the league in assists. There is no way Luka doesn't finish top 3 in MVP voting if it ended today. No way.
There's no way he doesn't finish top 2.
And the blow up that's about to happen with Luka Doncic being ready to just come in and take over the league. Like, I really hope his English improves because I would love to see him on all these. Like, what you've seen with Giannis.
Live sports.
Yeah, exactly. What you've seen with Giannis becomes so much more as his English has improved. I would love to see that with Luka and become a true star in the league because that's what the NBA wants with their stars. They want to be able to see everything, not just what's on the court.
This kid is obliterating.
He's amazing.
Obliterating LeBron James' numbers from LeBron's second year.
For sure.
Obliterating.
And granted, he's got a little more to work with, but he's still freaking amazing.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, he's incredible. Mm-hmm. And it's not like he's on some great team. Like, he's got Kristaps.
Yeah. But he's got some good pieces around him, too. They've got, like, sneakily, I mean, I think Tim Hardaway had, like, 30 or something today. Like, they assembled a pretty decent team around him.
It could be worse.
Boban's a good player. Like,
it's funny to me, too, because last week we did this, and you were like, let's slow your roll on the Luka stuff. We need to relax on that. But he just
another week. Like, he won't stop.
He won't stop. It's the same thing kind of with James Harden, and I think James Harden gets a worse rep because of the way he does it. But
it's not aesthetically pleasing with James Harden. With Luka, it's amazing to watch. You watch him, and you're just in awe that he's doing it. With James Harden, you're like, did he really just do another pump fake?
We do at some point need to discuss how absolutely absurd it is that James Harden has basically increased his scoring total every year for 10 years.
Yeah, he gets to shoot it more and more. I think he took how many threes did he take today? 15. He was 2 for 15 from deep.
His field goal attempts have gone up by 7 over 10 seasons. And his scoring has gone up by 14. So it's right on pace.
Yeah, it's right on pace. It's not news or anything, but there's maybe 2 other guys in the NBA who can get to 2 for 15. Because if you get to 1 for 10, most guys stop shooting threes. James Harden will not. So
yeah, that's true.
You can't get to 2 for 15 without going 1 for something really bad, probably.
Averaging 38's cool, but when you're doing it on 24 shots, it's 24 shots a night is insanity.
He shot 13% from deep tonight, but still shot 45% from the floor.
The other side of things is nobody else on the team can shoot, so
Russell Westbrook a solid minus 23 this evening when they lost by 14 points.
Oh, quick aside while we're on the topic of the NBA, before we jump into do the Pistons need to blow this thing up? Did you see LeBron whining about not getting a free throw opportunity?
I did see it. I empathize a little bit because that many shot attempts with the way he goes to the rim, at least
28 attempts,
right?
you would think
he would probably get fouled once or twice, but I don't think it's every time.
This dude has benefited off of foul calls basically his entire career.
Without a doubt.
I just thought it was funny that, you get one night and you go right to, I can't believe they didn't give me a call. Dude, they've been giving you calls for 15 years, bro.
It is glaring to take 27 shots, 18 of them inside the arc, and not get fouled. It seems okay, you probably got fouled once or twice.
How many were in the restricted area? I didn't watch the game. I didn't
watch most of the game. I watched the end. But, yeah.
If he was doing a lot of his post up and then turnaround jumper, I can see him not getting a ton of calls.
Mm-hmm. But he goes to the basket a lot.
If he was living in the restricted area, I cannot believe he didn't get one.
I got to imagine he talked about it in the post game, the level of aggression for the second night of a back to back. I'm just going to do nothing but go to the rim, and I never got fouled. So I empathize with him a little. At the same time, he's LeBron James, and he's been getting foul calls forever.
I do have to say, though, I really, I'd lost a little respect for LeBron after that final series against Golden State when he punched the whiteboard.
He broke his hand.
Yeah.
Air quotes, broke his hand.
I fell off a little bit when he used that as, an excuse for why he lost after they lost.
Yeah,
I have to say, I really respect the fact that he's played all 16 games so far this year. I think he's trying to go for 82 again. And in the era of load management,
I think it's a dumb idea.
I don't think it's smart, but I do respect it.
I respect him for wanting to do that, for being that guy. I signed a contract to play 82 games. People pay a lot of money to come see me. And he's right, because LeBron doesn't go into any arena that isn't sold out. It doesn't matter if he's playing in Detroit, if he's playing in Memphis, if he's playing in Orlando, that place is sold out. No matter what. So I understand the idea behind being these people pay a lot of money, I'm going to play every game. You're 35, you played every game when you were 33, and what happened when you were 34 was you hurt your groin. So, especially if you're planning on going to the Olympics this year, I don't think it's the best idea in the world for you to play all 82. They don't need you. We said it in the summer. The Lakers have to take advantage of the early part of their schedule, and they have. They are 14-2. They have dominated bad teams. They have beaten some bad teams some teams that we thought were going to be bad that are good, and their schedule didn't seem, or we thought their schedule was going to seem a lot easier, but Phoenix was good, and some other teams that thought would be bad. But they're 14-2. You can take a little break. You can take a second night of a back-to-back off when you're playing Memphis.
I do wonder a little bit, because they needed every bit of the gas tank to beat Memphis.
Absolutely.
I do wonder a little bit if he's aware of the fact that if he doesn't play a game, they will lose.
Rondo got thrown out. Avery Bradley's out. There's some other things going on.
But we know what their bench looks like.
Right,
and we know,
sure.
If you get 0 minutes from LeBron James, this Lakers team, if they get 0 minutes from LeBron, I don't think they win.
Oh, Rondo got thrown out 2 nights ago. That wasn't even last night. Never mind.
In almost any game they play, unless they're playing the Knicks, I don't know if they win when they get 0 minutes from LeBron.
Pistons.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so there's 2 teams. Yeah. Congrats.
He is, leading the league in assists. It's something he's never done before. It's because he is the point guard on this team. Like, even when Rondo's on the floor, LeBron James is the point guard. They're running everything through him. They're playing at his pace and his speed. And it's a huge reason why they're 14-2, because he still is LeBron James. He's not washed. But I don't think it's the worst idea in the world for him to only play 70 games this year. I don't think that would be terrible. You probably have 10 or 12 back-to-backs left.
I feel like he wants to pad the start of the season enough that he can take breaks at the end. Like, I think he wants to clinch the one before taking a break, because I think he knows this year it's especially important for them to have home court, for them to. I know he knows they need to be healthy in the playoffs, but like, I think he wants to do it and be the 1 seed. I don't think he wants to play from behind like he did in Cleveland as the 4.
No,
he needed everything to get through that Eastern Conference that year. I don't think he wants to do that again. My
big thing there, if they play the Clippers, whether they're the 1 or the 2, they've got home court. Like, doesn't matter. You're not getting a bunch of Clippers fans in there. It's going to be all Lakers fans every game. But if you got to play Houston, if you got to play look like Dallas, if you got to play any of these teams, you probably want to be at home. Absolutely.
All right, so one last thing on LeBron that I just found that's actually interesting. He's at the lowest free throw attempts of his career, but he's at the 5th highest percent field goal attempts within 3 feet. So maybe he does have a bit of a gripe.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. My initial thought was, but he's passing way more. But now, if you're telling me that part, yeah.
Maybe he does have a bit of a gripe on that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the Pistons, since we just talked about how they're one of the teams LeBron can play 0 minutes, and they would probably still lose to the Lakers. Dude, I thought they would be bad. I mean, I thought they would be like a 10 seed at like 30. I don't remember what I had them preseason, but it was like 38 wins or something in that range. I'll look it up while I'm talking about it, but they are much worse than I thought they were going to be.
They've lost 6 of 7. The only win is a 25-point blowout against Atlanta. It is the most inexplicable game I've watched of theirs all year, because they started the game down 17-7 and looking as if they were the worst offensive team in the NBA, and then all of a sudden Derrick Rose came into the game and they finished the quarter on a 26-6 run and were winning by 10 at the end. Like, it was insane. Every single other game in that 7-game stretch, they've been embarrassing. And some of them aren't ridiculous losses, like it's 6 to Indy and it's 6 to Minnesota and it's 9 to Miami, but that Miami game was way bigger than 9 all game long. I understand what happened with Charlotte, but you went to Chicago and lost by 20. Like, you went to Chicago and lost by 20. This is not just a bad team. This is probably the worst team in the NBA. Like, I understand that there are other teams who are what they are, but they don't have payrolls that put them $6 million against the hard cap. Like, Memphis is terrible, but they have really good young players and they play hard and they're not expensive.
The Knicks are terrible, but they have everybody on 1-year deals.
Exactly, and everybody knew they were going to be terrible. They don't have massive contracts. They don't guys have who think they should be on the All-Star team. Like, this is just a really bad situation where you were hoping to upgrade from mediocrity with a decent point guard in Derrick Rose, and you have since fallen even further below mediocrity than you were before. There is no feasible outcome where the Pistons become a good team as presently assembled. There is not a path to it. There's not Reggie comes back and they pick it up. Nope, it doesn't exist. They cannot do it. It is beyond time to blow it up. They start December, or they end November and start December with a decently easy schedule. I said earlier, they have to win 4 out of the next 5. They play Orlando, a home and home with Charlotte. They play San Antonio, and then they're on the road in Cleveland. You need to win 4 out of those 5 games. If you don't, and you are sitting there, if they win 4 out of those 5 games, it makes them 9-12. It's not like it pushes them back over 500. They'll get to 3 games under if they win 4 out of their next 5. If they lose anything more than 2 out of those games, you blow it up on December 15th. You do not wait. You get them out now and tell your fan base, sorry, we're rebuilding. Our bad. We shouldn't have tried it this year. We should have done it in the summer. Like everybody said, we should have just done it. We'll do it now. We're not going to wait anymore. Next year we will have something exciting and young, and it will be cheap.
I think the other side of this too is you start to look at, if you want to create this narrative that the Pistons are just going to get better once they get Reggie back and get deeper into the year. They'll go on that midseason run that they always go on. This is the easy part of their schedule.
Exactly.
I mean, you've played a Brooklyn team that's going to struggle to get into the playoffs. You've played the Pacers 3 times. They don't have Oladipo. Like, you got them at the best time to get them. You've played the Hawks twice already.
Right.
You've played the Bulls twice already. You're going to play the Hornets 3 times in the first 2 months. You get
Minnesota
the Spurs,
at home.
the Magic, the Wolves. I mean, you're talking about the Knicks in here. The Wizards, you've played nothing but bad teams. When you look at playoff teams, Miami one time, Milwaukee one time, Philly one time, Toronto one time. That's it. You've lost all of those games. All of them. And that, like, you are not a good team.
No.
You are not beating good teams, and you're not beating bad teams. That's it. Like,
you have a win against Indiana on opening night that is legitimately like the only real positive moment of the season. And you've beaten Indiana twice. But I still don't understand how they've done that. It's probably just because they can match up decently with those bigs. Other than those 2 games, like, you take away those wins and they have nothing to build on. Nothing. There have been no positive moments. Everyone looks lost on defense. Andre has plummeted since Blake came back, scoring-wise. Like, absolutely fallen off a cliff from that spicy Andre Drummond contract year we were talking about to start. Since Blake came back, he looks completely lost. Like, it is beyond time. Just do it already.
and I'll tell you, if Blake Griffin's got a head on his shoulders, he walks his ass into Ed Stefanski's office and tells him to get him the hell out of town.
No, he calls his agent. Don't do that, Blake. Don't ruin it for yourself. But call your agent and tell him, get you out of here. Do it. Just do it, Blake, because he's the one who can kickstart it, right? If he says, I'm out, this isn't working, that kickstarts it.
And you, like, the thing is, too, you need to capitalize this on this while you can. Right now, you have an asset a lot of contending teams really badly want.
I think you
Blake
honestly...
Griffin is one of the few players that would get the Celtics to toy with the idea of moving Marcus Smart. One of, like, 3 in the league that would get them to toy with that idea.
I think that, like, I really think you may have missed the chance to move him to Portland. Like, I think Portland.
Yeah, I think they're going to blow their core up too.
Like, yeah, they're just like, nope, we're not going to go trade for Blake Griffin right now. Like, that's not going to happen.
I mean, Cleveland missed their chance to trade Kevin Love there.
Yeah.
You've now missed. They are in not a rebuild situation as bad as you because they have 2 really exciting guards.
Cleveland is like,
they're not good, but they're fun.
They're fun, and Tristan Thompson's having a nice year. Kevin Love has kind of taken in a new role of like, yeah, I'll score a little bit, I'll rebound, and I'll pass. Like, we'll run the offense through me, but I won't hunt shots, which is interesting because when they ran the offense through him in Minnesota, he hunted shots. So this is kind of a new Kevin Love. They're interesting to watch, and you're right. Those young guards are good, and Beeline's got them playing hard. Like, Cleveland is way more fun than the Pistons. Way more fun. I'm trying. You mentioned Boston. The other teams that would trade for Blake, I struggle with it because I don't know.
Like, the problem becomes who has the need and the assets. Toronto might have the need. I don't know if
I don't
they
think
have
Toronto
the
has the
assets.
need. I think Toronto's so set there with Siakam and Gasol and Ibaka. Like, I love their front court. Like, I don't think they would need it. I think you can try really hard, and it only works if you move Andre to get Blake to somewhere like an Indy for a younger big. And if they want to try to pair him with Oladipo and think they could win now, I don't think they'd do it. I think that's a tough sell. Same with a team like Miami. Could you get a younger big? But there's no way they're moving off Bam for Blake. It's not going to happen. And Miami's already said they don't want any more big contracts till 2021. So, like, the chance to move Blake is right now, and you got to get to a team that still thinks they have enough optimism left. Because if you wait till January, the teams that are going to want to trade for Blake Griffin aren't going to want to do it anymore because they're probably already going to be out of it.
What about Phoenix?
You'd think about it, but
I mean, if you could put him next to Ayton with Baines rotating, that's not bad.
It's not bad. It's definitely an idea. I don't know that Phoenix would do it. It's a chance. It's definitely a chance.
It is starting to feel like the teams that really have the need for a Blake Griffin are teams that are not going to, like OKC could really use a Blake Griffin, but they're not going to make the move.
Sacramento's been spicy for the last few weeks. If they jump back in and are like hovering around that 8-9 seed, would they make a move for Blake Griffin? You'd have to take a bad contract from them. But
What about Brooklyn?
No, can't do it.
I know you got DJ, but what if you just like...
No, but I mean, you got Blake for 3 years. You're going to trade for him now and then trade him again in the summer?
I know they want another star, but I don't know. Like, I don't see what the team is. That's the other...
Yeah, like Phoenix is one of them.
You might have missed the window now.
Like, you really might have. Like, there's a chance if Charlotte stays spicy, you could do it with Charlotte. I don't think they'll stay spicy enough.
You would need Portland to get real hot,
Yep.
and I don't see that happening. I think you're right. They're going to lose 20 before they win 10, and they're going to blow the core up.
Yeah.
I don't know who you send Blake to anymore. The Pistons might have fucked their timeline to the point that it's unrecoverable.
Right. I mean, like, Sacramento and Phoenix are like the only, and they both have to stay good enough to want to make that move for a Blake Griffin. I don't know that they'll do it. Everybody's going to look at that number and get terrified of it right before. Like, Blake is a guy who has probably already this year been traded twice, and another GM has been like, nope, can't do it, pulling it away at the last second. Like, I don't know that they've ever had a deal for him. But if there's ever been a deal, there's going to be a lot of hesitation at the 24th hour.
I have wondered a little bit, too, if part of the amount that he's sat out for injury has been like he's trying to keep himself as healthy as possible.
I would if I were him.
To go someplace else.
Yeah. I would be not playing back-to-backs, which he hasn't so far. I would be...
But you're right on with the salary. I mean, even Boston, if they, as desperately as they need a stable center, a stable big, like, they're going to start looking at it and go, we have to move Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart just to match this deal. And then we're paying it for 3 more years. I don't think
and it could
can't
work.
Do it.
It could really work if Blake were in Boston. But you really have to reckon with that at the end of like one knee injury and we lose him for 40 games. Like, he's not a knee injury and snaps back in 10 games kind of guy. Those knees have miles on them. Any injury is going to keep him out for a prolonged time at this point.
Denver's got their
Denver's not
filled.
doing it. Millsap is having a phenomenal year.
You look at the Jazz, they're not doing it.
Just paid Bogdanovich. Like, all those teams that, like, a borderline playoff team.
The Rockets are one where...
There's one. Like, just because Daryl Morey will do something ridiculous.
It would give him a real big 3 of Harden, Westbrook, and Blake.
I don't know that it would give him a big 3 because I think Westbrook might be in that deal. Like, there's one crazy trade where the Pistons could say, we'll take Westbrook and then we'll move him again eventually. Kind of like the Thunder did with Chris Paul.
I feel like you're playing with fire if you do that, man. Because I feel like
I do too, but Westbrook
might not be movable.
Here's the thing. Like, the move for Blake Griffin was obviously in large part to sell tickets. So if you still want to sell tickets for the rest of the year, people will come watch Russell Westbrook. Like, they'll come watch Russell Westbrook, and then you trade him again in the summer. Just like they're trying to do with Chris Paul in OKC right now. It's like, okay, we got to move off Westbrook. It's really hard to move off Westbrook, so we'll take back Chris Paul, and eventually we'll trade him too. It would be the same thing. We got to move off Blake Griffin. It's really hard to move off him, so we'll take back Westbrook, and eventually we'll trade him too. If it keeps going where Russell Westbrook is minus 23 in losses and is shooting as bad as he is shooting, like, you're going to know that it doesn't work. And
he was minus 23 in 8 minutes of the first quarter tonight.
Is there a better ISO big to fit with an ISO guard than Harden and Blake?
Boy, they'd have the least interesting and least fun offense. They would play
so slow in the half court. It doesn't make any sense. For Mike D'Antoni, if we go from 7 seconds or less to 17 seconds or more.
I mean, we'd be talking about a Rockets team that would be winning a lot of games, like
they'd be good,
101 to 95.
But they'd be winning a lot of games
like that.
Offensively, they'd be good. They'd be damn good.
I don't think the Pistons would take Russ back because I think even Ed Stefanski and Tom Gores would look at 41.3 average annual with a $47 million option on the 5th year and be like, we can't do this.
I get it, but that's the one deal where you don't have to tell your fan base you're going in the toilet. You're saying, we're swapping a great power forward for a great guard because we think he fits better with Andre and the rest of what we have. Like, that's the only way you could say. And I don't think that Daryl Morey's out here looking to do this.
I think the fan base would riot, personally. I think that would be... And Pistons fans...
Maybe they would, but they were happy when we got Blake when everybody else should have been like, what are we doing?
No, that's what I was going to say. Pistons fans are some of the most blindly loyal that I've ever seen, where it's just like, just enjoy your basketball team, even though they're being really stupid.
for 10 years.
They're almost becoming Knicks fans
Don't say that to me.
Like, not you. You know what I mean.
No, but it's true, though.
There are a lot of
Knicks all the time now.
There are a lot of Pistons fans that are kind of becoming Knicks fans where it's like, we know that we're terrible. We haven't won anything in a really long time, but we like our team. And it's like...
I just want you to know, the Knicks won a playoff series in 2013. The Pistons haven't won one since 2008.
The contingent of Pistons fans that's like, don't talk about our team being bad. We are not bad. No, you're bad. Like, I can talk about your team being bad because you're bad.
Like, you're terrible, and you've been that way for years.
That's the group that I'm really like, I don't understand why. But I feel like even that group, if a trade broke that Blake Griffin was moved to Houston for Russell Westbrook, I think even that group would go, what the fuck are we doing?
I mean, I would understand it a little more because really the fit is better with Andre. Andre's better when he can run up and down and rim run with a pick. Like, Andre Drummond is a good center for Russell Westbrook to have. Russell Westbrook, like, before that deal to Houston, which, by the way, he wanted to go to Houston because there were trades to him or for him to other places, and he said no. Like, he could have been in Minnesota. He could have been in Detroit. He wanted to go to Houston. So it's not like Daryl Morey won't trade him. Daryl Morey will do literally anything. I don't think he's out there looking to do it at this point. But if it gets to the point, if you're Ed Stefanski, where the best trade you can get for Blake Griffin is Russell Westbrook, and Daryl Morey is out there moving or trying to move, like, what is Daryl Morey going to move Russell Westbrook for better than Blake Griffin? From Houston's standpoint, it's a no-brainer, right?
I think the other, yeah, probably. But I think the other side of this is, too, is Daryl Morey, I think, is in a position where if he doesn't win a title this year, he doesn't have a job.
Oh, no, he's getting fired for sure if they don't win the title.
So it's like, I think he's not going to make a move that involves getting off of Russell Westbrook.
I didn't think as much of how much he would have to go to Tillman Fertitta to ask about that, because Fertitta would probably say no.
He'd be like, what are you talking about?
Unless you told him, hey, Blake's actually like $3 million cheaper a year, so maybe we just do that.
Good Lord, Houston has a lot of money locked up in trade exceptions. Oh my God!
They just paid Eric Gordon. They're not going to be able to pay PJ Tucker too, so that's another reason why you might want another big locked up long term next to James, who fits. Like, Blake Griffin fits in Houston. Let's be real about it. Like, Houston should be trying to do that deal. The Pistons should be saying no at this point and trying to find something better for Blake Griffin. But if you can't find anything better, like Russell Westbrook in the Eastern Conference, running up and down with that team. Just tell him not to shoot, and maybe it'll work.
Clint Capella, PJ Tucker, and Ben McLemore for Blake Griffin works.
There it is.
It works.
So they get to keep Westbrook too?
That's a lot for the Rockets to give up.
Yeah, I'm not giving up PJ Tucker in that scenario because you already have enough guys who won't hustle. You need the one who's all over the place.
The problem Houston's going to... I'm now starting to realize I don't think this trade could ever work because Houston has so much money tied into trade exceptions that I don't really know what move they can make.
I mean, it's a pipe dream. Like, everything I've just said is like a 1 in a billion chance. It's just a trade out there for Blake that maybe could happen.
The point is, you gotta move Blake or Andre. You gotta move
I think
someone.
You gotta move both.
And if you can get... Like, it was supposed to be Charlotte was going to be the easy option. Right. Take our contract.
Charlotte's
it's 1
better
year.
Than you this year.
Charlotte's like... kind of good.
Devontae Graham is my front runner for most improved player.
At 6-11, I don't know.
If it's not Luka.
Charlotte might now be at a point at 6-11 where they've lost so many games 4 in a row now where it's like, all right, we had a nice little run at the start. Let's go back in the tank.
I think
send us your bad contracts.
They should have come out of that 3 losses in a row, though, last night in Chicago, or in hosting Chicago, and Zach LaVine just went freaking crazy in the fourth quarter. Shout out to my guy. But I still think Charlotte's more interesting than the Pistons.
Yeah, I mean,
like they've got a bunch of bad contracts.
They've
You're right.
got fun youth though. Like Mike Monk is becoming fun. Like
and Devontae Graham is good.
They have fun. Terry Rozier is fun to watch in Charlotte. I hated watching him in Boston. He was fun to watch in Charlotte. Plays. I mean, every team, like Cleveland, more fun. Atlanta, way more fun. Chicago. Night in, night out.
They have more fun players
at times.
I love Zach LaVine.
You want to talk about a guy I think might get moved? Zach LaVine's on the table.
Oh yeah, he absolutely should get moved. He went to his locker, like his coach pulled him in the fourth quarter. Like it's not going to get talked about because the next night he had 49 and they won a game literally because of him. But like Jim Boylan pulled Zach LaVine the night before the fourth quarter, and he went to his locker and was like, "Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. He singled me out. I didn't give up 13 points. The starting 5 gave up 13 points." He does that. It's what he does. He pulls guys. Like, I thought I was going to wake up to Zach LaVine dealt to San Antonio over DeMar DeRozan or something ridiculous like that. And it didn't happen, but I'll hold out hope that Zach LaVine's going to play for a good team once.
The Magic suck, and they're more fun.
And they just lost Vucevic for 6 weeks or something.
The Wizards suck. They're more fun. You have Isaiah Thomas, you're more fun.
And Bradley Beal. And true shooting percentage leader, Mo Wagner.
You know what blows my mind? Bradley Beal's 26 years old. The NBA always shocks me with how young these guys are. Yeah. It feels like Brad Beal's been in the league for a decade.
I mean, he came out of
26.
2012 he came out of Florida. Second overall or third overall? No, Kid Gilchrist was second. He was third.
26 years old.
Kid Gilchrist was second overall pick.
Yeah, since we're relitigating decisions made by Philadelphia front offices today, paying Carson Wentz, drafting MKG, drafting everybody you drafted before Embiid and Ben Simmons.
No, they didn't draft MKG.
Oh, no.
Charlotte.
I was thinking of Michael Carter-Williams.
Rookie of the year, Michael Carter-Williams.
Again, Drew Holiday traded.
For Nerlens Noel.
Good God, man.
Drew Holiday is really good. He had a great game the other night. He's so fun to watch. He's so smooth.
The thing I kept thinking about, too, while I was thinking about Drew Holiday was like, how old is Drew Holiday now? 26, 27?
Oh, no. Drew Holiday's got to be 29, 30. Got to be around there.
How many? He came out after 3 years?
No, just 1 or 2, I want to say. But he was that Delvon Rowe class.
What was he drafted, 2009?
I think so. I remember him playing a high school game against Delvon Rowe. Delvon Rowe graduated high
so
school,
Drew Holiday's 29. He was drafted 2009, and he really, career games played 666. He really started like popping in what, 2013, 14, 2015?
I think he made his first All-Star team in 13 with Philly. That year that Philly made the playoffs with Doug Collins, and then just decided to blow it up.
But like he was really on the scene when he got to New Orleans.
Nick
and became
Young in Philly that year.
This incredible defensive player. Like all of these things started happening for him. I wonder now, like since the 2009 class really popped in like 14, 15, where are we at now? Where like the 14 class is supposed to be really popping right now. Who are those guys?
Now, I will tell you one class that gets overlooked and should not be overlooked near as much, and that's 2011. 2011 is an insane draft class when you like it rivals 03. It's pretty damn good. Like you're talking Kyrie, Kawhi, Clay, Isaiah Thomas, like they Jimmy Butler. There are names in there. Even Tristan Thompson is an NBA champion. There are names in 2011. And it's like, damn, that's a good draft. That's a deep draft.
If I apply the Drew Holiday model of this is how many seasons, and then you really
Kemba
start
in
to
2011,
pop.
yeah.
You go to 2014. It adds up perfect. Ready? Andrew Wiggins having the best year of his career
Offensively.
It's going to happen for the next guy, too.
Yep.
Jabari Parker having the best year of his career.
You know what? Jabari Parker was damn good in Washington. Like he was. He was really good after that trade.
He really was. Joel Embiid, we know enough about. Julius Randle, starting to really pop.
Last year really popped, yeah.
Dario Saric, Zach LaVine. I mean, Saric to a lesser extent, but Zach
Think of where
LaVine.
LaVine would be if he hadn't had the injury.
Yeah, I mean, we're at a point where like these are the guys who are going to start coming up. Jokic, TJ Warren. I mean, TJ Warren to a lesser extent, but again,
TJ Warren's a good player.
Yeah,
teams and scoring.
It's a good player. Yeah. James Michael McAdoo. Oh boy, see that? There's always a point in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, you go
get
to 2011 and pick
Clarkson.
Jimmer Fredette. Like,
you get to Jordan Clarkson and
Jordan Clarkson.
Marcus Smart,
good bench player. Jordan Clarkson.
Marcus Smart, 6th overall in 2014.
Yeah, but they drafted James Young that same year too.
Oh, well, listen, but I'm telling you, this is the class
Rochester's
where you
own.
really this year we're starting to see guys really pop.
Right.
And like that's kind of, I guess, the 5-year mark of an NBA player. If you're not the instant insert one and done guy, 5 years is where you really start to see these guys come into their own.
Seriously, scroll 2011's draft when you get a chance. Because, oh my God. Like, I'm just going through these names, and it's Kyrie, Tristan Thompson, Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, the Morris twins, Kawhi, Vucevic, Shumpert, Tobias Harris.
Number 3 overall pick, Enes Kanter.
Yeah, number 6 was Jan Vesely.
Number 2, Derek Williams.
Yeah. Remember when Jan Vesely got drafted and made out with his girlfriend right in the middle of everybody? But I mean, keep going.
Bizback Miyambo, Brandon Knight.
Mirotic at 30, Mirotic at 23, Jimmy Butler at 30, Bojan Bogdanovic right after him at 31. That's a really good player.
Alec Burks is still in the league, right?
Chandler Parsons is rich.
Secure the bag.
Exactly.
King.
Like, even Isaiah Thomas was Mr. Irrelevant in that draft. E'Twaun Moore was 55th. That's
Vucevic.
a damn good draft. That's a really, really good draft in 2011.
I'm looking at all the Kenneth Faried,
Yep.
damn near out of the league though. I feel like he's just disappeared, right? Like Kenneth Faried's
He
a guy
had a
we
good
just
run
haven't
in
heard
Houston
about.
at the end of last year, and then just sort of, I don't even know if he's signed
Ooh,
right now.
big Kyle Singler.
Big guy. Do you remember that he didn't come to the Pistons so he could go play in Spain for a year?
Yep. Oh my goodness. The draft and stash by choice. Player choice.
You love to see it.
Stash me.
Love to see it.
Davis Bertans, 2011.
Yeah.
Having a real nice year. John Lure, another Piston great. This actually is a crazy
It
draft.
seriously
when we
is.
start
Like, there are
talking
names
about
in
it.
here, really, really good players.
There are so many stash picks.
Norris
in the second
Cole's an
round.
NBA champion. He was in that draft. Can't take that away from him. 2-time NBA champion.
Norris Cole damn near kept LeBron in Miami.
Corey Joseph has a ring.
Oh, it's true. There's a lot of guys in here. Jimmy Butler at 30. What a draft. Reggie Jackson, one of the best point guards in Piston history.
Don't say things.
What a
like
draft.
my guy Keith Benson. What's
Iman-
up? Oakland.
Iman Shumpert, NBA champion.
You're talking about Oakland draft picks today. Keith Benson was 48 in that draft.
Speaking of relitigating Philly's front office decisions, Tobias Harris, 19.
Yep. You notice if you go through this chart on Wikipedia of the draft, they have certain players highlighted with different colors for All-Star appearances and All-NBA appearances and all those things. Tobias Harris is not shaded in with any color because he's never made an All-Star team or been on an All-NBA team. But he got 180 million. Like, doesn't have any shading. Literally the same print as Derek Williams, who went second overall, but 180 million for. And I love Tobias. It's just now you get to make fun of him because he's way overpaid when he used to be way underrated.
Imagine trading your best perimeter players for 2 rentals and paying the wrong rental. Yeah. I can't imagine.
Just tough. Just really tough. And I love Tobias. Great Piston. Once a Piston, always a Piston. But God, not for $180 million.
Holy cow, what a bad
so
deal.
So much money.
All right, here's a long episode.
It's a perfect way to end it.
We got into some great NBA talk. More of this next week. It's always going to be NBA talk.
Can't wait.
By the way, just a quick Sunday night update. At time of taping, the 49ers are an absolute wagon.
Yeah.
Absolute wagon.
Fair statement.
23-0 over the Green Bay Packers.
Nice little homecoming for Aaron Rodgers.
Holy mercy. Are the 49ers, everybody kept saying when they were undefeated, are they actually good?
I said that. I called them the third best team in their division. I did that.
They might be the best team in football. I know they lost to the Seahawks. They beat the Cardinals by 10. People keep talking about that game like it was super close, but for whatever reason, the Cardinals just play them close. The 9-0 thing in Washington is going to hang over them.
That was a literal monsoon.
Yeah. That was a mud bowl.
Yeah.
And then at 49ers Ravens next weekend.
That'd be a good one.
Next weekend,
real good one.
Niners Ravens at 1 o'clock. NFL, do the right thing and flex that puppy into Sunday night.
What a week. You got the Iron Bowl, you got Michigan, Ohio State, you got that one.
Flex that puppy into Sunday night.
And we got the Thanksgiving tournaments. We got Maui next weekend, baby. It's the only college basketball I like until March.
They're never going to flex that game to Sunday night.
Tom Izzo in a Hawaiian shirt.
Patriots Texans is Sunday night next week. They're never flexing the Patriots
Houston
out.
Yeah, you're right.
They're never flexing the Patriots out of Sunday night.
I'd be like, I don't know, Houston. But yeah, no, that's not happening.
All right, that's all we got for the mashup this week. We'll see you next week.
Later.